All right, everyone. Now it's time to begin the day with a little bit of analysis. Link in the description, archive, of course. Tale of two realities. The Trump story, 6 months in. There are a slurry of stories, of course, at the 6 month marker that are talking about Donald Trump, what he has accomplished, what he hasn't accomplished, etc. Some of them are very dire, and you would think that Trump was a miserable failure. They've got the sad picture of him hunched over, in silhouette form on CNN literally right now as I'm speaking. And then you have articles that are simply praising him to the heavens and saying, "Oh my God, look at what he's accomplished." I have a more nuanced take. We have gotten used to that on this channel. Donald Trump generally has done a good job, but there are failings that need to be addressed. People who support Trump must put pressure on him to address those issues. They are not presidency ending, but they are significant. They're significant enough to have to talk about. Let's look at the positives first. An extension of the Trump tax cuts, which will save people untold amounts of money. An increase in child tax credits. I noticed, by the way, the liberals that are blasting the big beautiful bill, they actually thought it was great when Joe Biden front-ended the tax credit, actually, and tried to make it his own. He did the same thing with the Afghan withdrawal. That didn't go over quite so well, but people were suckered into believing that the tax credit was invented by him. That was a Trump era policy, just to be clear. It's like the immigration policy, which is still failing to an extent, as we see earlier the other day, unfortunately in New York City. That is Biden's problem too. Trump, unfortunately, is not going to be able to continuously say, "Hey, the last guy is the one that left me the problem." He's not going to be able to do what Joe Biden did, which is exactly the same thing. Eventually, the policies will be mainly his, and he'll have to take credit and or decredit for what he has done. Mainly, though, he gets credit. Most of the policies are good. The border is now much more secure. Diplomacy has broken out. It's not perfect, but he's doing a good job. He's only had 6 months to do it. In that time, there has been progress made. My hope is that he also shores up things in Korea, not simply with Russia and Ukraine, Israel, Iran, and so forth. My hope is that diplomacy continues. My hope is that we have another stage of presidency in which inexplicably we have a Republican that doesn't want to wage war on other people. Other than keeping the shipping lanes open, we shouldn't really be doing anything at all, honestly. So far, reasonably good on diplomacy. He has done a good job with regards to many other things as well. Deregulation of the oil and gas industry. Certainly that comes to mind. Then there are some failings, and we have to admit to them. A true Trump fan is also going to admonish him when he does something that is quite clearly wrong. Case in point, and it's giving fodder to the Democrats endlessly, the Epstein files, claiming that the Epstein client list did not exist, that there was no blackmail involved, is a blotch on the administration. That was a mistake. Trump should have immediately fired Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and said, "Look, I completely disagree with this report. It is quite clearly wrong. We cannot release the client list publicly at this time because there are ongoing investigations." That's literally all you had to do. Trump administration, unfortunately, was apparently preempted by the FBI, which doesn't surprise me, terribly large. It was preempted by them and then said, fuck. They've already come out and said this to the public. We have no choice but to go along with the shtick, which is what it is. It's a lie. I do not agree with this. I think it's sad that the Trump administration decided to do so. And I told everyone here, I voted for Trump. I would vote for him again at this point. I'll certainly probably be voting for J.D. Vance when he almost inevitably runs for office. Hopefully with Tulsi Gabbard, by the way, as his running mate. But I promised that I would comment on Trump's actions in a fair fashion. I will criticize him when he does something that I think is fucking up. This is a fuck up. There's no other way to put it. We know that there's a client list. Your own administration acknowledged the fact that there was a client list. What are you talking about, dude? And for him to get indignant then with reporters and come out and say, well, can we stop talking about this Epstein character? Yeah, that rankles me a little bit. It rankles me because you know better. You also kicked him out of the Trump hotels and shit like that. You're not culpable. You're blameless. Why aren't you throwing these people under the bus? What you should have done, again, is simply say we've got the list. It does exist. The FBI is wrong. By the way, I've tendered the resignation of these individuals that are running the show. We'll get it to you, but you've got to give us time. That's all he had to do. It would have been perfectly plausible. And I would have understood. I would have been like, hey, yeah, no shit. You have to conduct these investigations beforehand. But there's really a tale of two false realities. In one reality, Donald Trump is a sad sack loser, a big fat baby who pees on people's beds and does crazy shit, and he's just basically a washed up mess. That's not true. There's another reality in which Donald Trump can literally do no wrong. Everything that he's done has turned to gold. And everyone is wealthy and everyone is happy. That's not true either. There are still problems in the country, and it will take Trump time in order to actually address them. That being said, so far, he's done a very good job. Better than in his first term, and I can respect that. Again, tax relief, child credits, the border, all of these other things that he's done that are very, very good, and they're very, very important, by the way. RFK Jr. and Rubio and some of the others, Stefanik, literally earlier, I believe, Gabbard and so forth, certainly Lee Veldon. He has appointed better people. He has enacted a more efficient policy. He has teamed up with people outside of government in order to enforce his policy. All of these things, he's knocking it out of the park. But there are still a few concerns that need to be addressed. So that would be my address as far as analyzing the first 6 months of Donald Trump. Much better than his first term, certainly better hiring decisions on pretty much every level other than Patel and Bongino. Generally a good job reinforcing the policies that he already imposed, trying to undo the damage of Joe Biden. We do have some sticky inflation lingering, but it's still receding, so that's good news. The jobs reports have been steady. That's good. So on economics, he's got a 10 out of 10, basically. But there's still work to be done. And so that's my nuanced analysis of Trump's first 6 months in office. Very good, even better than before, but there's still a little bit of room for improvement. And I know that Trump can do it. He's got the skills. He's got the skill set. It's not like he's an untalented man. I think that we can all agree on that, even if you fucking hate him. But there is still a little bit of more work to be done. That's about all. Peace out.